I am very confused and frustrated with how Nintendo has decided to price their new games in terms of HD or remakes or just games that don't have a ton of content in them. I mean, you look at games like Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Smash Bros. Ultimate, all $60, all chock full of content. But on the same console, you have games like Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, a game that came out barely 10 years ago and was $40 at its own release, and now it's $60 on the Switch. You got a game like Tropical Freeze, which came out for $50 on the Wii U, and then they charged $60 for the port on the Switch. And now, with Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, we have another game that has been re-released. This will be the third time now, and it's $60 full. Now, before you even say it, I know that the industry has moved to $70 games, and this is technically less than that. This is a $10 buffer, right? But on the Switch, that is not how it's been. Tears of the Kingdom is the only $70 game on the console, at least first party wise, and it is so worth the $70. Like, it is full of content, more so than hardly any other game on the console. So it makes sense that that game is $70. And I'm sure the Switch successor games will also be $70 just because of how much better they're going to look and how much chock full of content they're going to be too. But this is the Switch we're talking about. 2017 was when it came out, and its entire life, its first-party games, except for Tears of the Kingdom, has been $60. So why are we re-releasing old games for $60? It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense at all. Games like The Thousand Year Door, that makes much more sense to me for it to be $60. That came out on the GameCube a long time ago, and it makes sense because if you were going to play The Thousand Year Door before this, it was going to be on an original GameCube, and you would have had to pay ridiculous scalp prices for all of those different pieces of hardware and games just to be able to play it. So it makes sense. Full price remake. They'd redid all the assets. Thousand Year Door, of course, I understand that. But then you have games like Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, which is just, it's baffling. It's baffling that it came out in 2013 on the 3DS as a $40 game, and all they did for the Switch version was make it look better. That's it. All they did was bring it to HD. No new content, no new anything, and they added $20 to the price tag. It's now a $60 game on the Switch, and that is just where the frustrations begin. Because, my friends, I think Nintendo is actively killing the Donkey Kong series by the way they have priced these games. On the Wii U, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze sold 2.02 million copies, which for the Wii U, that was great. And obviously everyone fawned over the game. They still do. Tropical Freeze is one of the best 2D platforms I have ever played in my life. It's an amazing game. So then they re-released it on the Switch. Obviously, they wanted to give it a new chance, a new life on a much better console with a lot more people. But then that game only sold 2.25 million copies. Barely any more than on the Wii U, which is very concerning. And my question was, for all the people in the world who have talked glowingly about Tropical Freeze, why did it not sell more? And then I remembered that they had been selling it for $60, and it's ridiculous. It's insane. And now they're re-releasing another old Donkey Kong game on the console for $60 full. Do they really think that people are going to want to buy that game? Tropical Freeze and Country Returns are both amazing 2D platformers, and some people say that Returns is better than Tropical Freeze. Other people will swear on Tropical Freeze. They're both great games, and they both deserve a second chance on Switch, even though Returns was on the Wii and the 3DS, two very successful consoles. But hey, put it on the Switch, why not? But why $60? And the thing is, the Switch has not had its own Donkey Kong game. In fact, it's been over 10 years since a new Donkey Kong game, and it's very, very concerning. I remember around 2020 or 2021, there were a ton of rumors talking about how the Mario Odyssey team was developing a new 3D Donkey Kong game, and maybe that's true, maybe that's coming out in the Switch successor, and all of this is just overblown by me, but I think it's telling when you can go through one of the most successful, no, not even one of the most successful generation ever for Nintendo by like a lot, And you're not going to put Donkey Kong on the console? You're not going to give them a new game for people to enjoy? I mean, this is your chance to bring back these old franchises or franchises that haven't been doing as well, because there's such a large audience willing to pay for these games, willing to play these games. Of course, you could say this about so many other series. Star Fox hasn't gotten a game, Mother, F-Zero, all of the classics that everyone begs for. But this is different to me because they've released now 2 old games on the console. So they're not giving up on Donkey Kong. They know that he has a market, but they're not giving him a new game or even a fair chance, because this pricing and the way that they're releasing these games, it's infuriating, because I loved Tropical Freeze and I loved Returns a long time ago. But you know what? Even though I am a Nintendo YouTuber, even though I love Nintendo and buy just about all of their first-party games, I couldn't care less about Returns HD because it's $60. I don't think I'll probably pick it up. I mean, maybe I'll do that voucher thing where you get 2 games for $100 and just shove it in there with another game that I really want. But outside of that, I wouldn't get that. And that's saying a lot coming from me. That's saying a lot. How many more people do you think aren't interested in, or would be interested in this game, but they aren't because of the price? Which perfectly segues into a poll that I did on my community tab, and I did 2 of these to test the waters here for Donkey Kong. So the first one here, over 140 votes, I asked, which game in the Nintendo Direct were you most excited for? And I specifically put in Donkey Kong with the 3 new big titles just to see what would happen. And Mario and Luigi got 35%, Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom got 36%, Prime 4 Beyond 26%, Donkey Kong Country Returns HD got 3%. So out of 141 people, only 3% thought that they were most excited for Donkey Kong Country HD. Which, you know what? I expected a much lower number anyway, so that's pretty high. But let's look at this next poll that I did. So this one was a little bit more in tune with what this video was about. 76 votes, and I asked, if you were interested in HD remasters like DK Returns or Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, did the $60 price tag on those games deter you from buying the games or pre-ordering them? 74% said yes, it is too much money. 74% of people said that they would have loved to play those games. They were so interested, but they didn't take the plunge because it was too expensive. Nintendo, you are one of the most profitable companies in the world, especially coming off the Switch era. You have made so much money. I don't understand why you don't understand the importance of exposure, the importance of giving an old game a new chance at a cheap price, because who knows what YouTuber is going to pick it up? Who knows how many people are going to see the game and be like, you know what? I'll get it. $30, $40, why not? But no, $60 for these games? You have deterred so many people from buying these games. I did a whole video about this on Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, and we don't quite know the sales numbers of that game yet, so we're not able to make a conclusion on if the $60 price tag deterred people from it or not. I still think because of the series popularity with 3, that game will probably sell fairly decently, like 3 to 5 million is likely. But how many more sales numbers do you think they would have gotten if they had priced it at $40, which would have been how it was on the 3DS? $40 was what it was. Why would you increase the price $20 for an HD upscale? It's baffling. It's baffling, and I don't understand it. Now, this video particularly is about Donkey Kong and how I believe Nintendo is killing Donkey Kong. They are giving him no chance to survive. Donkey Kong has had some great games, and on the N64, his 3D game, that game actually sold more than Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask! One of the best Zelda games ever made, a cult classic. People love Majora's Mask. And the 3D Donkey Kong game on the N64 sold more than that. So what do you think would happen on the Switch if a brand new 3D platformer starring Donkey Kong happened? It would be such a big deal. So many people would buy the game. The series would be revived, and more people would probably be interested in the 2D games, because that's just kind of how it works. People are drawn to the 3D, and then they usually go to the 2D from the others. Sometimes it's the other way around, but I tend to find that more people like the 3D games. But they've not even given them a 2D game. Donkey Kong has not gotten a new game in over 10 years. So yes, part of this is due to Retro Studios and the struggles that they have gone through. But you can't tell me that Nintendo prioritizes dealing with retro studios over Donkey Kong getting a new game. You can't tell me that they couldn't have given one of these other teams that they have in Japan a Donkey Kong formula and said, hey, make whatever the heck you want out of this. Go crazy. Give us a brand new Donkey Kong game that people are going to love and it's going to grow the series. You can't tell me that they couldn't have done that. So, I don't think Donkey Kong is dead, but I do think that he is being killed. And if he doesn't get a new game soon, if he doesn't get a new game that captivates people, that shows people why his games are worth playing, he might go the way of the Star Fox. He might go the way of Earthbound. It is just very confusing and very frustrating as someone who wants to see Donkey Kong succeed, as someone who wants to see Nintendo succeed. I don't understand it. But hey, let me know down in the comments if you were one of the people that voted in that poll, or if you hadn't voted, tell me if you really were going to buy these games until you found out that they were $60. Did that deter you? And if so, what would you do? If you were Nintendo, what would you do? Please let me know all of that and more down below in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's content,